So you got the president laughing about dead kids.
He doesn't believe that Christians were targeted in the Nashville school shooting. Do you believe that Christians were targeted?
I have no idea.
Josh Hawley believes they were. What do you say to that?
Well, I probably don't then.
Probably don't.
I think it just speaks to where we are. The fact that our president is even still a second time laughs when we are talking about a school shooting in America. Don't even get into the politics of the Christian school, who did it, it's a school shooting in America, and you laugh twice. Get out of the White House.
He even acknowledged it was a joke. I'm joking. I'm laughing. I'm showing you I'm laughing here. Again, while 3 children are dead, multiple adults are dead.
Remember, President Biden came down into that meeting at the White House, joking about the only reason he had come down to the meeting was not to address the shooting in Nashville, but was because he heard they had ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream. That was disgusting enough and unprepared enough. But this one's even worse.
When you hear the president laugh off this joke, clearly, because someone just mentions Josh Hawley. And look, I'm not one of those people who says this kind of things. This is the point where you go, okay, this cannot be our president. This cannot be someone who's leading the country. Because you're so politically divided, you hear one name and you realize I'm going to make a joke about a school shooting. Not good, Mr. President.
I know they can't come to a 100% conclusion in law enforcement, but I want to go to Attorney General Garland because he was asked about it too. And I'm not expecting him to say it's 100% because I understand how law enforcement works when they talk about motives. But I know for a fact that if this was a mosque or a synagogue, he would at least say that it appears at first glance that this was a hate crime.
No one would question it.
And no one would question it.
Every Jewish group, every Muslim
group
group
a church and a Christian school gets shot up? Can we not say, well, this appears to be a crime targeted at Christians?
Yeah, at a minimum, it's targeting Christians because it's a Christian school and church. There's no ways around that. But let's take a listen.
I realize that the shooter is dead, but the shooter could have had collaborators. Do you plan on opening a hate crime investigation for the targeting of Christians?
The FBI and ATF are both on the scene working with the local police. As of now, motive hasn't been identified, and the police chief said at his last press conference that they don't yet have reached a conclusion with respect to motive. We are certainly working full time with them to try and determine what the motive is. And of course, motive is what determines whether it's a hate crime or not.
You know what Senator Kennedy asked, Logan, was, will you open an investigation? Not have you concluded? And he's saying no.
No, I haven't.
He's saying, no, we won't until we have a definitive answer on the motive. But an investigation is how you get to the bigger issue.
Right, because they've said there is a manifesto, but then also the police
All
chiefs
he's asked for is an
kind
investigation, not a conclusion.
Right, the police chiefs have kind of said, well, it's a lot of writings. There's a lot to go. It's not necessarily like
Sure, I'm sure this is
crystal clear. This is someone who's unwell. So it's not like that clear in this sense. Or it may be, and we just may not know. And there's I think
it is going to be very clear that it was targeted at Christians, and that kills the entire narrative of the left. They don't know what to do because they didn't handle the pro-life bombings very well, and finally they're starting to take some action on those, but not very well. They got a lot of Christians there.
This has become the story with President Biden, and this is when you want a president to step up. When these kind of events happen, whether it's a natural disaster, or whether it's a disaster like in East Palestine, whether it is a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, you want your president, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you want your president to actually be presidential, step up and do something. When you don't, it's incredibly disappointing. Hopefully someone will do something about it coming up in the next couple of years, because it's really sad that this is where we've gotten. Even if you're a Democrat, you have to look at this and go, we can't continue on with this.
The new demonization here, and it's not new politically, but now we're starting to see the demonization turn into violence against innocents, like those kids who were totally innocent. They don't get to choose the politics. They haven't gotten to that point in life. They never will get to that point in life now where they get to choose what they politically believe, or if they're even going to be heavily involved in political process. They were 9 years old, and the teachers there, one was a substitute teacher. I mean, it's not like they were making some political statement by going to a Christian school in Nashville, a small school. They weren't flying signs up about politics at their school.
It did not seem like that, no.
No. And yet, the demonization has now turned into violence against us, where we have to all be in fear, not because your kids go to school now, but because they might go to a Christian school. because that's a target of leftist activists, just like pro-life pregnancy centers
Yeah, and that happened.
conservative organizations, which we've known has forever been a target.